So, hi there, it's Lyndsey Gilchrist, and today I am chatting with Julia Bernard-Thompson. So, what's your company name there, Julia?
I trade as me. Hello, everybody. I trade as me, so I don't have a fancy business name. I'm just juliabernardthompson.com.
There's no problem with that at all. And just tell me a little bit about your
Easy
business.
to remember. I'm a business coach, and I help my clients optimize their business so they can get high-paying clients easily and consistently. So most of my clients are either coaches who are just starting out. I've had wedding planners, I've had VAs, I've had online business managers, I've had even a numerologist has been my most exciting and different client to date. So yes, once people sell services, whether offline, mainly offline, I have to admit, they come to me and I help them put all the pieces together so that they get those clients in the door regularly.
Excellent. That sounds fantastic. And how long have you been in business?
This is actually my third business. So it makes me sound older than I am when I say that. So this particular business has been going for 4 years, but I started my first business back in 2007. So it's quite strange. I basically teach my clients what I did for myself to make my business successful in this particular business. So yeah, I'm a 4-year-old coach, but I'm definitely an entrepreneurial veteran. So it's been a long journey to get here, and I always like to explain that because I think it's useful for people to know that success can happen quickly. However, overnight success, sometimes it isn't always lasting.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
You're definitely right there. So what was it that prompted you to start then as a coach?
It was quite funny because, well, my first business was a shop. Not that that's important, but I lived in Northern Ireland. My husband's from Northern Ireland. We opened a hair and beauty business, which I hasten to add actually failed in 7 months. So I tell people it was a £20,000 MBA without going to school for it. So I learned a lot about what not to do next time. So we did that and then moved back to England, and I went back to work because I had to pay the money off. I started a wedding planning business. And so basically all of the lessons I'd learned from the first one, I put into the wedding planning business, and that worked brilliantly. And I went international and made 6 figures in 2 years, which sounds glamorous, but it was exhausting. So what started happening was people were then asking me, how did I do it? When I started my business, the recession was like just at its peak. It wasn't the most sensible time to leave a really good job and start a business, but hey, sensible's boring sometimes. So I started basically running wedding planning classes for people who just kept asking me, can you teach me what you do? Can you teach me what you do? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I'd have a group of people and I'd run the course, and it was all very easy. And, my wedding planning business was bringing in loads of money. So I never really thought of the training and side of things as a significant portion of the business. And then what happened was people who then did the training with me saying, well, can you show me how to actually run the business side of things? And I was like, yeah, sure. It was all, very, very relaxed. And very gradually, I had more and more requests from other wedding professionals and then non-wedding professionals, because obviously their friends were like, what are you doing? Who are you working with? So I was getting these referrals from people who weren't in the industry at all. And gradually I realized that my training time and coaching time was taking up more of my time than my bridal clients.
Yeah.
So because I was looking to make a transition anyway, I was back and forth between the Caribbean and the UK. Again, sounds very glamorous. Again, is very exhausting because half of my business was luxury destination weddings. And I thought, I can't keep this up. So it felt a good time to make the transition. And it was as easy as that and as gentle as that, really. It was a case of needs must. The opportunity was there. The clients were there. And I thought, well, I'll give it a go, see how it worked out. I'd never really thought of myself as a coach. It's a strange thing for me to describe myself as a coach, because I say to people, I just show people how to do what I did, and how not to do what I did that didn't work the first time around, which is also important. And that's pretty much how my coaching business started, purely because people kept asking me, can you show me to do what you did? And I just kept saying yes. Because I don't believe in, if I know something, I'm just going to keep it to myself and make loads of money. Because where's the fun in that,
Oh, no, exactly.
So,
but that's fantastic that you managed to just go like that and that you had the clients ready, and so much better than Bridezilla's, I bet.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, you know what? I say to people, I'm kind of glad now I don't plan weddings, because when I was actively planning weddings, Pinterest wasn't around. And some of my clients now, they're like, oh my gosh, if somebody sends me another Pinterest board, I'm just going to scream.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's constantly trying to achieve this level of wedding perfection that really, really doesn't exist. And Bridezilla is real, people. It's not just a TV show. Trust me, it's a very real phenomenon.
So what's your big dream then for Julia Bernard-Thompson?
Wow. I feel as if I've launched a one-woman crusade against women being underpaid in their business and struggling to find high-paying clients in their business. So my big dream is to be working, again, between the UK and the Caribbean, because people will probably guess from my accent that the Caribbean is home.
Yep.
And just be able to spread the message that even though you're just starting, it doesn't mean that you have to work for rubbish money. One, no such thing as people won't pay. So my big dream is to spread that message across the Caribbean specifically, because that's home for me, and definitely across the UK. I'm going to take over the world, basically.
Fantastic. Go on, Julia. So what keeps you going then? What is it that motivates you to do that dream?
When I see my clients, really, I mean, it's one of those things. It's the satisfaction when I see someone come to me and they're charging like £50 and £60, and they're saying, "Oh, but Julia, I really, we've kind of done the numbers and looked at the business." And I ask them, "What's your dream number?" And they go, "I'd really love to charge £1,000." And I think, easy, we put a plan in place for you to do that. And they, "Oh no, I had a lady, she's just finished her program with me. It was so funny. I said to her, I wish I had recorded her very first conversation. She actually met me. I spoke at an event, and she came up to me at the end and she said, I like what you said, but I think you're crazy." I was like, okay, there's a compliment in there somewhere. She said, "He's going to pay me £1,000 for what I do because the library does it for free." She does like tutoring, I teach tutoring. And I said, okay. And she said, "But I still want to work with you." I was like, all right then, thanks, I think,
Mm-hmm.
And we put, work together over 9 weeks it was. And at the end of it, she said, "I got it now." When she put her £1,000 package together, she was a new woman.
Yeah.
Then she sent through a revision for me of something else that was £1,500. And I feed off the excitement of my clients when they have that transformational moment of going like, "Oh my God, my work is really worth this."
Yeah.
And I give an example of £1,100 because I want to, it's, high ticket and high paying means different things to different people. And if somebody goes from charging £45 to £1,000, it's as if they've gone from charging £1 million to £2 million. The numbers don't really matter. It's the feeling and the confidence that matter. And that's the thing that lights me up. It doesn't even matter if somebody goes from charging £60 to £600. It's their excitement and seeing, their face light up and going, I didn't think anybody would buy at price point. And that just completely juices me. I could clearly go.
It's the whole mindset and things changing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just being able to witness that shift time and time again. And, if I could bottle it, I would. But it gets me excited every time. And I don't think I will ever get tired of seeing that transformation.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
I feel like I say it sometimes, I feel like a proud mommy because, they come in like preschoolers and they think, "Oh, I'm not sure. And by the end of the program, they're like, man, I can totally rock this, you know. And then sometimes they would have their phone while they're on the program.
Yeah.
And I literally get the messages, you know, screaming down the phone. I could hardly even understand what they're saying. Somebody's bought it, you know. That's what keeps me going.
It does make you proud because you've helped them along the way to do that.
It's an honor to be part of the journey, and I'll really never get tired of it. So, yeah.
So the big question then, do you currently outsourcing your business?
I do. I have two ladies who keep me sane, as I put it. I actually run two businesses, so I'll explain a bit. So I have my wedding planning training company still.
Okay. That
pretty much looks after itself because I've outsourced it, and I have my coaching company. So in terms of both businesses, I have support. I have the same two people who support me across both businesses. One of them primarily works with me when I'm on live training days, and she's like my right hand woman and pretty much looks after, like she looks after me. So she makes sure that the tea and coffee is ready, that there's water in the room, all the things. So when I arrive, I literally just have to turn up and deliver the training. Even things like making sure the room is laid out, you know, how I like it laid out, and the people that are coming for the training are all signed in and registered. And I'll tell you a funny story about that in a minute. So she looks after the business on live training days. And then I've got another lady who looks after the behind the scenes admin stuff and does my invoicing and keeps track of registration, sends out contracts and all of that kind of thing. So I literally, all I have to do is concentrate on coaching my clients. I don't have to worry about who needs to send a payment when. And I actually have two people that do that, one on a UK time zone and one on a Caribbean time zone. So the person on the Caribbean time zone looks after my US and Caribbean clients, because obviously she's on the same time zone as them. And the one in the UK pretty much does more of the holding the ship together, to be honest. So yeah, three people actually. Shame on me for forgetting. so yeah, but I'm sure if you ask them, they'd say something different.
So do you think that's a huge benefit as well, to be able to have someone in a different time zone?
Absolutely. You know what? I didn't always split it. And what happened was, obviously, when I first started my business, most of my clients came to me live. So I didn't really have to factor in a different time zone. But as the business grew, and with social media, where you never really know where people are, and people were saying, can I work with you? And then I'd realize, hang on, they're in California. They're on an 8-hour difference. So we would have a phone call, but I'd send something through and they may not get it for 24 hours. Or I needed to get information back. Time zone was becoming a hindrance. Or it would be daytime for them, but evening for me, and they needed to get in touch with somebody, especially if it's on a Friday. In an ideal world, you don't really want a client waiting until Monday, you know, to hear back. So I thought, you know what, it would probably be of benefit to have somebody on a closer time zone. And then I'd always had Caribbean clients, even from day one, you know, from back when I was only doing wedding businesses. And it just made sense. If my big plan is to have more of a presence in that part of the world anyway, I just thought, well, why not? Because it means then they can pick up the phone and ring somebody, even if they can't speak to me, they still feel confident in knowing, oh, yes, the checks come through. Because obviously people still do business by checks and in person in the Caribbean, and they like having a body at the end of the phone to connect with. So it makes a huge difference in terms of them still feeling supported and that they can still connect with me and contact me even though it's not me.
Excellent. I do like that answer.
Yeah, makes a big, big difference.
So what was the trigger then that made you start outsourcing your business?
I giggle. Right. I ran a promotion. When I kind of decided to do the wedding planning courses in a big way. I ran a promotion, and the promotion sold 68 places in, I don't want to lie, I think it was like 4 days.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that. And then I realized I had to register 68 people.
Yeah.
Tell them which dates they needed to turn up, where they needed to turn up. Not only that, I needed to teach 20 people at a time.
Oh, goodness.
And I kind of sat down and I thought, oh, I didn't really
expect that.
So, because, you know, in my head, I thought, oh, I'd have like 10 people in each class or 8 people in each class. It'd be lovely. Well, it was lovely, but I didn't have those numbers at all.
Yeah.
So it was crisis point. Just going to be honest, it was a complete crisis point. I had because I just kept getting emails from people coming in saying, can I book this date? Can I book that date? Can I book that date? And I was still wedding planning and I was still traveling. So I thought, I need help. I cannot keep track of these emails. I was double booking people. It was just getting messy. I thought, this is not the best first impression. So it was complete crisis. We don't expect things to always go as well as that when we run a promotion, which is a bit strange.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I need help. And I literally thought, I just have to get somebody in to help me with the admin. So the first bit I outsourced was the admin side of things, just to make sure that the numbers were right, contact the venue, confirm, that sort of thing that I just didn't have the time to do. So yeah, crisis. Nothing like a good crisis, realize you need help.
Well, the thing is, that's what people do. They leave it to the last minute and then it's kind of spiraling and you need to try and get it all sorted and things fall through the cracks. Like,
it was a case of I either stay up for the next 36 hours and do it and still make a mistake, or I get somebody to do it, you know?
So how did you find your VA or your OBM to do that for you?
I said a prayer and I Googled. Now, if you're listening, that is not the way to find your VA or your to get a referral. But no, I literally sat down and searched the internet, and it was quite one of those things where I thought, I just need to cross my fingers and hope I find the right person. And I kind of had a short list of 3 people, and it was a bit naughty on my side, because what I did is I sort of looked to see if they had the things in place that I would tell my clients to put in place. And a lovely lady called Valerie stood out, who is my VA now, and I rang her up and I said to her, I'm OCD about planning and organizing. I said, done just so. I will probably ask you 10 times until I get used to you. And she laughed and she said, perfectly fine. She said, I get people like you all the time, Julia. You can email me as many times as you need to for this first piece of work. And, you know, if you're not happy, you just let me know. You know what? She put me such at ease, because it's quite a strange thing handing over part of your business to somebody, a perfect stranger, because I hadn't even had a referral. And just in her saying, I get you email as many times, you call as many times as you need to, because it was the first piece of work, you know, and truthfully, I didn't even need to email very many times. And the things I did need to email about were mistakes that I'd made, things that I had forgotten, because it's quite strange when you're passing instructions to somebody. And I think that's the bit that people worry about. You have to learn how to give the information to get the result that you want. So it was a steep learning curve, but that's literally how I found her. And then Jelena, who helps me with my live events, she was referred to me. She just finished a hospitality qualification, was a mature student, and it was somebody that I knew through networking. And I said to her, look, do any of your students, you know, they're looking for work experience? And she said, I've got the perfect person for you. I said, if she's not perfect, you're going to hear about it, you know. And she said, no, I promise you she'll be fine. Literally introduced me, and it's been quite a good arrangement ever since. I've been really lucky. Again, that's not the best way to find a VA. Referrals. I was just lucky. It was pure luck of the draw.
So what do you expect your VA or your OBM to have then? What traits do they have that you would need?
Patience. never-ending patience. Also, the ability to tell me when to stop it. I know that sounds a bit funny, but I wouldn't want someone who is just, oh, that's no problem at all. That's no problem at all. Because I just think I want to know that they know their stuff in their own right, the same way I know myself.
Yep.
And I want them to be able to be firm with me when I'm crossing the line into crazy.
Yep.
Obsessing over something and say, Julia, I've got this, go coach people. That's just why I'm here.
Stop it.
Yeah,
yes.
Just stop it. Exactly. And I do get that. I really do get that. So that's important to me because it shows me that they know what they're doing, as well as, like, this is going to sound strange, but it's just the little technology pieces, I want to see that they are slightly more clued in about the technology that's available to do things than I am, because that's what I want them for. I want them to tell me about the cleverest new way to manage my diary, or even better, diary, and send me an email saying, by the way, I realized and I'm like, ooh, I love it. Let's go.
Yeah.
So very, very proactive, very assertive, and very patient, which sounds like a strange combination, but pretty much works well for me.
Those all go well together, to be honest.
I think so. I think they go well together. I couldn't really have an OBM who just told me what I wanted to hear, because, like, what's the point in that?
No.
If something's going to look stupid, just tell me that's not,
Yep. And Julia, stop thinking about that idea just now and do this instead, and then we can come back to it. Come on.
Yeah. When I send lots of things and I get an email back going, okay, so which one do you want me to do this week? I'm like, oh yeah, I did send like 10 things in that email. All right. And then I think, I don't know. And usually the response is, well, you just do whichever one you think makes the most sense for what I've got going on this month.
Yeah.
So that's where I am now.
Yeah.
But that isn't where I was when I first started. That's
my next question. What was your business like before you started to outsource?
You know what? I was, even now, I'd be honest and say I'm actually at that point where I think I'm sort of needing a bit more. And I'm going to speak to my lady about that soon. Before, it was just a mad scramble to do everything.
Yep. And
I didn't have any weekends. I couldn't dare stop on a weekend. We were talking off air. I don't have children, but even still, I have a husband that I like to spend time with. And we just had no weekends. And you kind of left my job, work-life balance, and I'm not balancing anything here.
Yeah.
Because at least with the job, I stopped on a Friday and I didn't go back in on a Monday. So before I had support, I just didn't stop. And it wasn't very fun because the bits that I enjoyed doing, it was almost like I was too tired to do. But the invoicing has to be done. The email newsletters have to be done. The website edits have to be done. It has to be part and parcel of running a business.
Yep.
But then the actual income generating activities also have to be done, like going to view venues and negotiating rates on behalf of my clients and, helping them set up their sales funnels and all of those things. That's what they're paying me to do. And if I'm too grumpy, let's just be honest, too grumpy to do those things properly, then everything starts falling to pieces because they send me through stuff to check. And I'm busy invoicing the new batch of clients. So the current batch of clients might not hear from me on time. It starts to spiral control. It wasn't very nice. It was just too much.
And now, what's it
now
like?
I have weekends. Actually, on Friday gone, I had an email sent out to my current batch of clients saying, I'm not checking emails this weekend. If they had anything urgent, send it to the VA email address, because my private clients have a private email track with me. And, she said, Julia's not available on email this weekend. Do you know what? Just having somebody to send that out was like, this is funny. Because then I could switch off. Exactly. Then I could switch off and I didn't have to think about it. Even like now when I travel, I don't have to constantly take the laptop or the tab or the phone everywhere and worry that, but somebody might email or something to get something done and they won't get through to me, or the email won't be answered for a week. Doesn't matter. If something comes in, I can see it on the phone, but I literally go forward, send a message saying, can you look at and let them know I'm away or whatever, or you book them in, or send them the link, and I'm like, carry on with the holiday. 5 minutes, it's not even 5 minutes, it's done. So it just makes it more fun to run my business, to be honest. It just makes it easier.
Yeah, definitely.
So to focus on the things that I'm good at.
So what would you say is the key benefits to outsourcing? Why is it so important for you to do that and have that person on your team?
It actually frees up my time to do the things that make money. It's okay, being in business isn't all about the money, but otherwise, what's the point? Let's just be honest here. And it frees up my time to do those things. And I was actually talking to a friend about this the other day, and I said, I need to get even, a bit more support, because my programs have changed. And I've put more one-to-one time in my programs, which is what I like, which means that I have to outsource more things, not necessarily that I don't like them, but they're things that I don't need to be doing.
Yep.
So, it just makes it easier for your business to grow.
Yep.
Because I could just sit and dream up fabulous ideas, and I don't have to work out the execution of the ideas, because I know I have somebody who can do that for me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So how can we find out more about Julia and your business?
Website or Facebook, where I spend far too much time for my own good. So my website is juliabernardthompson.com. I'm sure Lyndsey will include a link somewhere.
Yep.
And I have a group called The Premium Entrepreneur. It's the only one on Facebook, so you can search for that. And by all means, join the group, say hello. I share tips and techniques in there, and people can ask me questions and sort of have access to me in that space. And that's where I am. On Twitter, I'm Biz Coach Julia. I don't tweet very often, I will confess. So Facebook or my website. And just say hello, drop me a line, say hello, ask me. Feel free to ask me questions. Clearly, I like to talk.
I'd just like to say thank you for spending the last half an hour with me, Julia. It has been a pleasure. And thank you once again.
Thank you so much for asking me, Lyndsey. Yeah, it was really good. Thanks again.
No problem. Thank you.